Good morning, everybody. It is morning, even Eretz Yisrael. So first thing, Parsh Bikurim, Kisavo, heading into Slichas. It's actually one of my favorite mitzvahs that I really enjoy. Really, you do this, Yudi? You bring fruits down to? No, it's not really limited to fruits. The Torah talks about Bikurim as the first fruits in Eretz Yisrael, but really this is something that we don't think enough of. It's one of those mitzvahs that is a Kadosh Baruch Hu, Yisrach Tash Kadosh Baruch Hu, you're thanking Hashem for all that you have. In the Torah, it's limited, I guess, to your first fruits in Eretz Yisrael. It's not just any fruits, but everything about the mitzvah is just a beautiful way to thank Hashem. And that's why it's one of the most, I feel a big shvach. I had a house in Staten Island, which was fantastic, a community. But having a house in Eretz Yisrael is a big deal. It's not easy to live here. It's not easy to make aliyah. Nowadays, it's not easy to buy a house in Eretz Yisrael and Beit Shemesh. Everyone hears on the news how the prices are going up. And Beit Shemesh is probably the prices are jumping. I'm not sure why exactly, but becoming a really expensive place to live, to buy a house. So to buy a house here really is not simple. And to sit here, I'm in Eretz Yisrael 17 years, and sitting in my own house is a big deal. Baruch Hashem, it's a big deal. Have a house in Eretz Yisrael, it's a huge deal. But a lot of different layers of the mitzvah that kind of jumps up. And this year I kind of saw an extra layer to the mitzvah of Bikurim. So we know that part of the mitzvah is the best fruits, not just any fruits. You're looking for the first ones, and usually the first thing you have is the most important thing you have, whether it's your first child, your first job, your first house, your first car, your first wife. Your first is always the most important thing. And if those people that enjoy the show Breaking Bad, remember that's on reruns now, when Walt Weiss buys the car wash, so the guy, he looks as the guy's leaving the store for the last time, he sees on the wall the first dollar that he made. And he wants that. Even though the guy made a lot of money selling, and he has more than $1 from the sale, but the first dollar that he made, and you go to pizza shops, they have the first dollar on the wall. The first thing you have is the most important, and you never forget your first sale, your first dollar, your first job that you had. So here we're just going to take the first thing, but we actually tie a ribbon around it. So before it's even a fruit yet, it's just starting out. It's not even a plant yet. It's got blossoming. You tie a ribbon around it, and you're going to take this to Yerushalayim, have the Kohen eat it, and it's a reminder. It's really a reminder. Theoretically, okay, it's one in the corner. I'll take it. Not a big deal. But the point is, every time you walk into your field, you see this ribbon around the fruit, around the branch, and that's a reminder. Not just I'll thank Hashem when it's time to go to Bikurim, when it's growing, I'll thank Hashem. No, every time I walk into the field, I remember that I should put my kochos, the best that I have, to Hashem. And whether it's your best time of the day, if you're a morning person, then your best hour of the day, learn Torah, daven. If you're a night person, that hour that you're really clear, learn Torah. The best thing you have, you should kind of channel it and thank Hashem with. I was telling the Rabbi Bagno, they with Molech, the Avodah Zarah. You take your firstborn, throw him into the fire. Oh, they're crazy, they're Avodah Zarah. No, the point is exactly this. The best that you have should be sacrificed to Hashem. The best that you have should be towards Hashem. And think about this more than just once a year when you go to bring Bikurim. The other level of Bikurim is what you say. If you own land, you don't just bring the Bikurim, but you say, Arami Ovid Ava, you Arabit Shrima. A person can thank somebody, but when you think about where you came from, where you are today, again, it's a bigger deal. You're not bringing a carbon, you're not bringing a great animal, a steak, a check, money, you're bringing fruits. So the outsider would say, okay, thanks for the apple, fantastic. Oh, another basket of dates, you're the best. But when you now thank Hashem, because just one generation before, Forget about land, you didn't have freedom. You were slaves. And also, your people were from Avodah Zarah. So not only did you now zocha to have land, and now you can afford to give karbanos, you can give trumas and meiser, you have a place to call your own, you can make a parnasa. Before that, look, just before, you guys were slaves. It's a bigger deal. Not to get too much off topic again in pop culture, but this week with the Emmys, Jimmy Kimmel made a joke. So this black woman got an award. One of the writers, I mean the show even. So he did a joke. So people were upset. It took away from some of the chashivas that the first black woman in how many years get this award. So most people, God, what's a big deal? But you know what? For her, because they're for slavery and the first black woman to get this award, it's a big deal for them. So even though most people kind of shrugged, you don't know the story. It's not their history, so we can't appreciate this struggle or this journey that she went on. Same thing with us. You, an outsider, would see, okay, big deal, some apples, some pears, banana. Kohen, I'm sure, had rather eat something different. No. When you look at the struggle that the Jewish people went through, that they weren't a people, they didn't have mitzvos, they had no Torah, and Hashem took them out from slavery to this place, their own land, and to have their own literally land and their houses, that's a huge deal. There's another layer of Bikurim that's in the Torah, but I never thought of it until I saw our Rabbi, Rav David Bagno, New Sefer, Shir Salviim, and he talks about the point of bowing down. So there's not too many times a day that we bow down, really just Aleinu, in Modim, Kadosh, different parts. We put on our toes, we bow down, bow forward, not too often. Shoshana we bow down, Yom Kippur we bow down, in the Beis HaMikdash we bow with her Hashem's name. What's the point of bowing down anyway? And you think about it, again, another reference to pop culture, the queen dies. So you kneel curtsy by the queen, the king. Nowadays, people don't really think that King Charles is going to chop your head off if you don't bow down the right way, or Elizabeth II, rest her soul, was going to kill you. But it's to show respect, fine. But when we bow down, we do real hishtachava. The point is, we're nothing. We have no strength. We have no kochos before Hashem. We're totally flat. We have no strength. We have nothing without Hashem. So we bow down to show literally, I kneel, I bow down, that everything's from Hashem. That's not my own power that's making the field grow. It's not my own power that's making this parnasa. It's really totally for Hashem. So the bowing down part is as important as the kriya part. I'm acknowledging with my mouth that Hashem is the ruler. Hashem got me to this point. And ishtachva, again, I'm acknowledging that it's all from Hashem. And in the Shir Levium, Rabbi Bagno says, Hashem's okev kufim. It's not just the bowing down part, but it's also the getting up part. Because when you say Modem Nachmalach, when you say Hashem's name, you go back up. So it's not just a magic thing, you come back up. No, the point is, Hishtach f'nei Hashem, and Hashem zokev kufim. In the morning we say that, and zokev kufim, Hashem straightens the people that are bent over. And that's another level of Bikurim that we have, is when I'm sitting in my house, and you have the perfect opportunity to forget about Hashem. As Kli Yakar says, when a person's in their own house, in your own field, the most natural tendency is to shun the outer forces and to think myself. I paid for this house. I have a job that I could afford this new car. So the most natural thing is to forget about Hashem. And Bikurim is the opposite of that. We have to kind of make a stand and do things, whether it's a simon in the field with the string, whether it's saying the Parsha Bikurim when I give it, and also the bowing down. If we thought about these lessons more often, and as we're going to Rosh Hashanah, one of the central points of the day by Oleinu is to bow down. We recognize on Rosh Hashanah that Hashem is the king, and everything is Gunish is nothing without Hashem's help, without Hashem's hashgacha. And this is something that we can kind of really focus on, as maybe this is why Bikurim is saved at this point, Parshat Bikurim, right before we go into Slichas. The best way to go into Rosh Hashanah is to think about ways that Hashem is the king, way to approach it. And that naturally will turn us into a thought of tshuva. If you really believe Hashem is the king, how are we wasting time? How are we doing things that aren't correct and proper? And that's a proper mindset to go into Rosh Hashanah. And hopefully we have a great Shabbos. Hopefully we have these lessons that we thank Hashem for all that we have, our family, security, our parnasa, our homes, and Eretz Yisrael. Have a good Shabbos.